Vocal revolution. Vocal revolution. Vocal revolution. Vocal revolution. Change the world with your voice.
So, welcome everyone to the Vocal Revolution, where we talk about changing the world with the power of your voice, personally and collectively. And it's really wonderful that you're tuning in today. Thank you so much for listening or watching wherever you are. We're really, really grateful for you spending this time with us. And here in the UK at the moment, we're going into the kind of the darker times, the wintry times, the nights are drawing in. And this is the time also where there are many, many festivals where we start thinking about how we can light each other up and gather together. We've got Hanukkah coming along in a few days' time. Here on the podcast, we celebrate that. And today's episode is all about celebrating how music and voice can bring light in the darkness, lift up our spirits, bring a little bit of magic and sparkle, even when things are a little bit dark and dingy. So if you're having a little bit of the winter blues or any kind of blues, hopefully this episode will give you some inspiration. Because my wonderful guest today, Sarah Fisher, who I've had the honor of working with for 7 years now, I've just worked out, she's just going to have so much to share with us today. She's an extraordinary musician with 20 years experience of working in the industry. She has toured nationally. Sorry, what was that?
I said a little bit more than that.
A little bit more than that. Ooh! Well, who's counting anyway? But extensive experience, and she's toured internationally and nationally as a pianist and a singer, and she's also worked as a session musician for many international artists, including the Eurythmics, and she's appeared on TV such as Top of the Pops. Currently she tours with Hazel O Connor, and she's writing a country pop album with Esta Rae. And Sarah studied community music at Goldsmiths College, and she's worked in various community sectors, which is how I met her. But I know she's also worked in prisons and schools and young offenders units and many, many inspiring, exciting projects, especially with young people. And she currently co-directs 2 community choirs and 2 mental health singing groups, and I'm honored to co-direct one of those choirs with her, and we have so much fun. So I know you're in for lots of fun speaking with Sarah today. Thank you for coming, Sarah.
Gosh, what an introduction. Now you've taken all the things that I was going to say. No, that's great, Katie. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sure there's lots to talk about, and that's just just a brief kind of overview of the length and breadth of your work. So if you were to pull out some highlights, Sarah, what would you say were some of your pivotal moments of this experiencing how amazing music is?
My father died when I was 7 years old, and I think that was probably the very first pivotal moment of my life, actually. And I obviously was very musical because I was the only one out of my sisters who they went to ballet classes, and I took to the piano. And I started practicing, and I had piano lessons and everything. And basically, I used to shut myself away because I must have been a very sad little girl, I think. But the music, just helped me through. And as I got older, I was playing more and more, listened to so much different kind of music, everything. It was from jazz to pop to country, and I used to try and copy everything. I was great at copying. So, and sing along, and and that basically started my whole career because, I built up this kind of repertoire of pop songs and jazz songs, and that's how it really all started,
Yes.
And then I started playing in wine bars and things like that at the age of about 14 and 15. So that was quite a pivotal moment as well. Everything I've done, I call a pivotal moment, actually, because, it just leads me on to the next thing, really. And I was working in wine bars, moonlighting in wine bars, I'd say, at a really young age, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. And then, another pivotal moment. I worked at M&S,
Right.
and then I would escape and then go and play in a wine bar somewhere.
Right. Yeah, fantastic. And that was your outlet, and
Yeah, it
that
was
was
a big
how,
outlet actually.
yeah,
Huge. I didn't realize how big it was. I just loved to play, and it was just, there was a lot of piano. There were a lot of places that had pianos in those days.
yes, yes.
And it was, not a problem to actually go in and say, "Can I have a job?" And just start playing. It was great, really great.
Fantastic. And how
Yeah.
did that then lead you from playing in wine bars? How did you get to then getting into the industry and meeting other artists? Because you sound like you were quite alone in some of those other experiences, but how did you then find, the community of other artists and things?
Okay. So um, from there, I left Marks and Spencers.
Yay!
Yeah. And a friend of mine actually called up and said to me, "Oh no, actually this was after. No, I left Marks and Spencers because I thought, this is not really where I want to be going. So I looked up in the Melody Maker at the time. Do you remember the Melody Maker?
I do. Yes,
It was
I
a
do.
fantastic music paper. I loved it. And there was this agent, and it was called Kana Variety. And I thought, okay, I'm going to get in touch with this guy. And there is a bit more of a story to this one, actually, but I'm just going to kind of move it on. And I phoned Jack Fallon. He was such a lovely man, and he also was a musician. He used to play. He's not here anymore, but he was a double bass player and had played with the Beatles and Ella Fitzgerald and all the fantastic, great people. And he had this agency anyway. I had to make a cassette of my singing and photograph.
Wow.
And I had actually met somebody, funnily enough, at a party who they were looking for this is just so weird actually, because they were looking for a piano player in Bermuda. This guy had come over from Bermuda, seriously,
Wow.
and he was over because he was sent by the brewery to he worked for the brewery, but also to find some artists and piano players and things. And I said, God, really? And I was talking to him and I thought, oh my God, this is fantastic. And that is why I went to Kana Variety and I asked Jack. And anyway, he looked into the whole thing and sent off my cassette and everything. And basically, I left it. I left Marks and Spencers. They said, just get it out of your system, go and play somewhere, and then come back to us in 3 months.
Wow.
Okay, so I said, okay, that's really nice of you. Thank you very much. And off and I got the job and off I went to Bermuda.
Wow.
Yeah. And 5 years later, having worked in Bermuda for about, I don't know, it was about 3 or 4 months. From there, this is where the next thing went. I started playing in the piano bar.
Right.
And I met some lovely, lovely other piano bar players who today I'm still really, really friendly with.
Yes.
And in fact, actually, they're probably my best friends.
Wow.
I know, and we're very close. And basically, I started playing the piano, and I travelled all over the world with that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it was amazing, actually. It was
Amazing.
amazing.
Yeah. And you never went back to M&S, obviously.
This is the funny thing. After 5 years of playing the piano in hotel lobby lounges and God only knows where else, I mean, just everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, um, I came home and I thought, what am I going to do now, really? So
Mm.
I actually, I don't know, my mum said to me, you could still try going back to M&S if you wanted to. And what happened? I don't know. Anyway, I applied again. They said, yeah, come back, have an interview and everything. Anyway, I went back. And then I remember the first day walking down Baker Street because it was head office. And I'm thinking, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this? I must be
Yes.
mad. And I remember seeing somebody in the loo, and she says to me, "Gosh, I haven't seen you for a little while." So I said, "No, it's about 5 years." Anyway, I went on this course at Marks, and they took me through. Oh my gosh, It was really bad actually because it was, I did 6 weeks there, and one of my very good piano player friends, um, who was also a session singer, rang me up and said, "Look, here's my next pivotal moment. Um, I've been offered an audition for the Eurythmics."
Wow.
And I said, "Oh, really?" Very nice.
Yes.
She said, "But I can't go because I've just had a baby girl, as you know. And I thought you might like to."
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow, Sarah.
I know. And it was very strange. And I said, "Well, my God, Janie, So anyway, actually, Janie,
I
Janie
do.
Wheeler,
Yes, yes.
of course.
Amazing woman who does
Yes,
amazing, amazing
yes,
music. Yeah.
amazing woman. And she's actually been right next to me through my career, through all the community projects, a lot of community projects that I've done. But she started me on this road. And she said, "Look, the audition's only down the road in Crouch End. Why don't you go? I'll tell them you're coming."
Wow, that's amazing.
Wow. It wasn't
Wow.
wow. It was a bit mental actually because I just couldn't actually, it was just mad. So I thought, oh, okay, I'll go. But I loved the Eurythmics, and at the time, I'd seen them a few weeks before then at the Hammersmith Odeon, as it was
Wow.
called then. And I did think to myself, and this is true, Katie, I sat there and I was humming all the songs, and I knew them, and the three girls on stage going like this and all this business.
Yeah.
And I was thinking tonight, I'd really love to do that.
Yes.
I'd
Yes.
really love to be there. Wouldn't it be amazing if I
Yes.
could be on that? I honestly,
The
I really
dream
do
came
believe
true.
in fate. I do. And I went to this audition, and of course, harmony is a big, probably my biggest strength, actually. I love singing harmony, and that's how I got into choirs and everything. And I just love all of that. But I knew all the harmonies to all the Sweet Dreams and all of that stuff. And anyway, I went to the audition, and basically they phoned me that day, that evening. I think it
Wow.
was about midnight, and they said, "Would you like to join us?"
Wow.
And I went, "Oh my God."
Yes,
I said,
please.
"When?" And they said, "Well, we're starting rehearsals again tomorrow, so can you come tomorrow?" And I went, "Ooh." So I had to go into M&S. I said, "I can't start tomorrow. I could the next day." Had to go into Marks and Spencer's and tell them that I would no longer be able to work for them anymore, and
Oh,
because I'm going to join the Eurythmics for a world tour.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. It
Amazing.
was it was so wow. It was just like crazy. And the next day, I was rehearsing with them, and 3 weeks later,
Yes.
I was in New Zealand.
Wow.
I know.
Just so amazing. So
That was
amazing.
amazing. And it was a huge festival.
Right.
I mean, I was like this little person, like going from Marks and Spencer's to like this stage and this huge festival in New Zealand. And they were practically at the top of their career at that point. They were just about going. Sweet Dreams tour was like massive,
Wow. Huge. Absolutely
huge.
huge. So you must have played stadiums all over the place then.
Mhm.
Wow. Wow.
But oh gosh, when I think about it, I was terrified. It's terrified. I had to, get it fitted into these costumes and
Yes.
wigs and all these things. I mean, I had some horrendous times on that stage where the skirt was too tight, and I had to get on a podium. Actually, I remember this so well. It was this beautiful white outfit I had, and a black kind of wig. And I remember walking across the stage, and it was raining, and some horrible person threw mud, and it hit my skirt.
Oh
And
no.
I was, completely, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, oh my God. And then I got onto the podium, stepped up, and my zip broke. and all those things. That happened in like the first 2 days, and after that, I was okay. I
Okay,
could
so
cope with
yeah,
anything. Yeah,
but
I
you
was horrified.
survived it and you're there
I
to
did
tell the
survive it.
tale.
I am, and it was like 9 months of being with them was quite extraordinary.
I can
To
imagine.
have had that experience in my life. I mean, it's
Yes,
like once in a million, 1 in a million people get that opportunity, I think.
absolutely. And
So I do feel so honored to have done that, really.
I can imagine it must
It
have
was
been
hard as
just,
well. I mean, it wasn't easy, but it was just something that I can actually, I recall so much of that tour, and it was
yes,
wonderful. It really was to be able to recite it to you, and there's lots of stories on that tour. But anyway, that was a great, great time of my life. Yeah.
I can imagine.
Mm,
My goodness, that's just
mm,
incredible.
mm.
And I know it's a grueling schedule of those, touring isn't it? But it's so rewarding at the same time because so many different audiences and experiencing your music. And if you were going to pull out again just a couple of real highlights, obviously you told us about some of your challenging moments at the beginning there, but
Yeah.
a couple of highlights from that tour, what would you say? I know there's loads of stories, but just
Oh my, you know, one of my favorite songs, even today, is "Here Comes the Rain Again."
yes,
I love that song.
yes,
And I remember being on that stage for the first time and Dave Stewart playing the guitar and all the lighting, and you don't really see the people out front because
yes.
it's all lit on stage. That was a really, oh God, I could feel all the hairs on my body, just kind of going, oh, it was amazing. And then, that was a major, major tour. We stayed in great hotels, we traveled on planes, we stayed in, you know, we had a lovely, lovely time. Um, but that was over
Amazing.
in 9 months. Yeah. And, but, we traveled. I remember going to Japan. I got an allergy to monosodium glutamate that first day that we were there, and
Yes.
I came out in a rash all over my
Oh
body. I remember that as
no.
well. Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah, that was awful. Learning all the dance moves. Well, I'm so left-footed. I mean, I just can't. I can't dance. I'm just hopeless. And also, my rhythm is just awful. I don't. I know that sounds a bit odd, but it really is. And I'm not a great counter. So, as you know from the choir, counting people in is something that I find great difficulty. But having said that, it's all right, really.
But you're
Anyway,
a
so that was
fantastic musician.
the Eurythmics was a really massive thing in my life. It
Yes.
was,
And what would you
fantastic.
say were the top things you took away as a musician? What did it teach you? Like, what did you take away from that experience?
Oh God. Well, once I'd done that, obviously I felt quite empowered by that.
Yes,
you know,
should say.
I was brave, to do it. I felt very brave. My mum, she was so fantastic. She said, you've got to do this.
Mm,
She was the one that kind of pushed me on and said, look, you've got to go and do this. You've got to
yes,
leave marks and just go and do this. Because
yes,
it's very easy to stay safe in your life.
yes, yes.
We all like to kind of tread water sometimes. And,
Sure.
that's an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
But when you're offered these opportunities, you just have to take them, whether you like it or not, really. And I don't suppose I liked it that much at the time, taking the opportunity. And I thought, oh God, what am I doing? And I had to learn, I had to learn on the job,
Yes. Yeah.
you
That's
know.
the only way we do sometimes is just by taking a risk and doing it and saying, yes, I'm open to this. I'm going to do it. I have no idea how I'm going to get through it, but I'll do it.
Well, exactly. And the other thing is, of course, playing with a fabulous band, professional musicians and voices, the beautiful harmony from that. I mean, oh God, it was just mind blowing and it was really lovely. So I took all that away and that continued my journey.
I can
So,
imagine.
yeah.
Yeah, must have been just heavenly just to be amongst that, yeah, that caliber of musicianship and yeah, surrounded by that sound in that way that you describe, where it's making you just tingle with all the harmonies and the beauty of it. And
The
yeah, you,
caliber of the musicianship, that was it, wasn't it? They were brilliant.
yeah,
To have been able to experience that very young, it's just great, you know.
fantastic.
Yes. So that was a really big thing.
So a huge thing there. You're a huge pivotal, not just a moment, an extended period of your life to have that.
Ended.
Wow.
It was short, 9 months, and then of course, I had Janie to thank for that,
Yes.
and then I carried on. I met somebody I started writing songs with back in the day, and we wrote a lot of stuff actually. And I think because of all of that band stuff, we started a band,
Yes.
as you do.
Yes. Yes. Of course, you'd have been inspired. Yes, to
Yeah.
start your own
So,
band.
we wrote songs together, and yeah, and then we started a band and we started going around all the pubs and, as you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's
Doing all
that
the
place
gigs.
called in, oh, the Mean Fiddler. Do you remember that?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Loads of gigs there. Oh God, I mean, now here's the other thing. I remember getting a gig there with Roz, actually her name, um, and as we'd done loads and loads of gigs by then, we were asked to support, and this is true actually. I forgot about this. We were asked to support Hazel
Hazel O
O'Connor.
Connor.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
But we
Amazing.
never did because, in fact, actually, her gig was cancelled for some reason. I don't know why. But we were asked to support her, and of course, we said yes. You know, but we were only, it was anyway. We did that. We did loads of stuff. We played at the Hard Rock Cafe. All kinds of. You do so much in your when you're young.
For sure. And what was your band called?
Oh God. Marina Speaks.
Marina Speaks. Wow. Fantastic.
Marina
Wonderful.
Speaks, and that was from Thunderbirds.
Okay. Right. Got
She
you.
never spoke.
Right. Right.
Never
Okay.
spoke, and
Right.
but we spoke. So yeah,
Right.
it was great actually. We did it was fun, and it was a lot of, you know, uh, we wrote a lot of songs actually together.
Yes.
It was
And
great.
talking to Marina Speaks, you're obviously giving voice as two women to an unvoiced woman, and you are there in the forefront with some amazing, because obviously Annie Lennox herself is just a pioneering feminist, incredible woman who does a lot of work for women around the world now. I'm part of her charity called The Circle.
Mhm.
So for you, your experience being a woman in the music industry,
Mm.
how was that for you? I mean, yeah.
Didn't really think about. I know this sounds a bit weird, but we just went for it. We didn't
Yeah,
really think about it at the time.
that's
Didn't think,
great.
oh my gosh, we're women and we won't be able to do this or we can't do that. We just plowed in there and just did it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we just did it, and we didn't think about it too much at that point, you know.
Great.
But as it's got harder and harder, and we didn't get a record deal or anything. We got a publishing deal,
Great.
and that was great for a short time. Uh, gosh, what happened after that? Oh yeah, then I met one of my very good friends, and another girl. We formed a trio
Great.
called Sax in the City.
Fantastic. I
I
love
know.
it.
That was amazing.
I love it.
Yeah, I hadn't done community work by this time. I
Sure.
was still on this treadmill of music and playing and loads of, gigs and things. And we did Sax in the City, and that was fantastic. We were three girls, harmony. I played the keyboards. The other girl played saxophone, and Eliza was one the lead singer. And we used to do functions. Actually, we did loads of functions, parties.
Wow.
Yeah, bar
Wow.
mitzvahs, weddings, you name it. And we did very, very well. And we stayed together for like 10 years.
Wow. That's really great.
Yeah, it
Yeah. So
was
you
really great. It was
obviously really
very,
gelled. Yeah.
we did. And we actually loved working together.
Yes.
But we had to take all our own gear. We had
Yes.
to take, all the PA systems and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
We had to learn about how to use it all and everything.
Yeah. Wow. So that,
So we just did it.
wow. Amazing. Just women on the road doing the thing. Yeah. Amazing.
We had
Amazing.
to do it and we did it.
Amazing, amazing. It's just wonderful spirit of sort of confidence and just going for it. That's really brilliant. And
Yeah, we
so when did the community music part of that, did that come in after that?
yes.
That
So it was after that. I think we came to a kind of a mutual agreement that we would stop.
Yes, yes, you've had enough. Yeah,
We've had enough, you know. But it was really fun, and the work stopped coming in as well. So we
yeah,
just went, okay, goodbye. But yeah, we're still friends, so that's
great,
good.
great.
And it was after that I thought, well, what am I going to do? What am
Yes,
I going to do with my life? You know.
yes, yes,
And um, so a friend of mine said, well, why don't you look at Goldsmiths College? They've got this thing called community music. And I thought, okay, well, I'll have a look at this. I know music workshop skills in the community, and I applied for that. And I went for my audition, and this guy called Phil Mullins, he was the next pivotal thing in my life. You know, you should never say somebody changed my life, but he changed my life. He did,
yes,
because he accepted me on this course. I just had to play the piano and sing. I sang, actually, he's an Irish man. I sang Van Morrison Moon Dance that I'd played about 50 million times in the piano bar. And he said, oh, well, you know, that sounds pretty good to me. Yeah, come on the course. That sounds pretty good. So you're on the course. It was very simple. It was
yeah.
very, very simple. I said, okay, great. I'm going to join you. So, yeah. So I did 3 years. I did 1 year. Then I took a year out because I thought, oh gosh, I don't know if I can cope with another year of this
Yes,
because it was quite intense.
yes,
And then, so I skipped a year and then and then I went back on for my second year 2 years later. And he,
yes,
you know, that was fine. We kind of put it back. So I met fantastic people there, and I learnt how to run workshops.
yes,
And I had no idea I didn't even know what a workshop was.
yes,
I thought, what's a workshop? I don't even know what this is. All I know
yes,
is piano and bars and, you
yes,
know, mad things like that.
yeah,
So this was the beginning of another part of my life, which is
yes,
where I am now.
yes,
And oh my gosh, it changed my whole life.
yeah,
And I love working in the community so much, you know. I did that course, 2 year course. Um, yeah, it was fantastic. And he actually, you know, pushed me out into prisons, and I mean, he was like an agent actually. He was working for um, a community group called Rhythmics.
yes,
I think that's still
yes, I
runs
remember them.
actually. And he was like the middleman, and they would ask him, "Oh, have you got anybody that would go and do this or that and the other?" So I ended up doing so much community work, and as I say, I went. I ended up my first job with Phil was at Bulwood Hall prison,
Wow, wow,
running a singing group. Oh
yes,
my God.
yeah,
And I
that
did
must
it
have been,
though. I mean, it was like, oh, I had to take somebody else with me,
of
another
course, that's good.
girl
You
from
need
the
that
course,
support.
and
Yeah,
but we went together and we did it.
yeah,
And we were there for about how many weeks? A few weeks. We ran that course, and
yes,
then actually after that course, we kept being asked back, which was lovely,
wow,
and ended up being there for 5 years.
wow,
Yeah,
wow,
doing all kinds of community work, not work, but community. We did singing, we did songwriting.
yes,
Other people came in then with band work,
yes,
and we did recording. I learned
yes,
how to use what did I use at that time? Reason, I think it was,
yes,
and Logic, but Logic came later. But
yes,
Reason, and I was learning, you know, to take to record everybody, and that was part of
fantastic.
it. They taught me
Yes,
how to use all of this stuff, you know.
how amazing.
Yeah, it was great actually. So I learned how to use Reason. I learned how to use Logic. I learned how to work with groups of people. I
Yes,
had never been out front. I'd always been behind a
yes,
keyboard or behind somebody singing or behind
yes,
this, that, and the other. So I had never been in front of my keyboard,
right.
and
Yeah,
that was really, really hard for me.
yeah. It's
Mm,
really front line, isn't it? There's no hiding. You're just there with people. But the beauty of that is you get this incredible connection, don't you, with people, which is
yes.
worth it.
I mean, having done piano bar,
Yes,
you know, I still had the piano was there. That was my, you know,
your
uh,
buffer.
yeah. It was still there, and I could, just do that. But I wasn't kind of out there, like
Yeah.
standing in front of a load of people, and it was really hard. And I remember the end of the first year, or was it the second year? I don't know. End of one of the years that I was at the at Goldsmiths, we had to run a workshop. It probably was the first year, I think, and to our the people in the group, and he was videoing it. I remember, and we had to plan our own workshop and everything. And I think I was using some kind of digital machine, to sequencer or whatever. And he said, "Okay, roll. We're going to, video this now. And you're going to teach the rest of the group how to do this workshop." So I said, "Okay, fine." So off we go. I could not speak for
Wow.
about 15 minutes. I honestly, it was like stuck.
Wow.
I
Wow.
was stuck in my throat.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was
Yeah.
so hard. It was like I couldn't get the words out.
Wow. Wow.
No, it was really, really mind blowing. Actually, I just said, "Oh God, I can't do this."
Yes. And how did you get through that? How did he coach you through it, or
Well, he
you?
did coach me through that actually, and this is the thing. He basically, and that's when he started sent that at the end of the course. That was what happened. He sent me out. He said, "Look, you can do this. You're a singer. You can go and sing. Go and do these things. I'm going to
Yeah.
send you to. I'm going to send you to a prison." That's how it
Yeah.
all started. He said,
Yeah.
"And you're going to do it."
No choice.
And that was
No
it.
choice.
It was like, okay, but I had everything written down, and it was
Yeah.
just like, oh my God,
Yes.
everything, it was, I find, to stand out in front of my keyboard was the hardest thing I ever had to do
Wow.
for ages. Yeah, it was really difficult, Katie.
And that's really great for anyone listening who might have had those kind of experiences or be
Mm.
frightened of public speaking
Oh,
or singing or anything, like to know that even a very established artist such as yourself who toured, and done extraordinary things already in
mm.
your life, and then to know that you too had that experience of feeling frightened and overcoming it, feeling not just frightened but paralyzed, and then
Paradise.
overcoming that. And what do you feel helped you in that moment? Obviously he was there supporting you. Did you find something inside yourself? What helped you to then go on and get, as you say, keep going out in front, even though it was challenging for you?
I just had to do it. He was a fantastic teacher, and he just
Yes.
basically, and everybody in the group were very, you know, what's the word? I can't even think of the word, but
Supportive, supportive.
very supportive, and because everyone had to do the same thing, really. We
Yes.
all had our worries and our nerves but he just encouraged me so much. And I think one of the reasons that I was so that, that I struggled so much with speaking to a group and singing, and I hate to say this, but I will have to say it now, that my stepfather, unfortunately, this is an awful thing, but he used to say to me, "Don't sing," as a child,
Wow.
and this is
Wow.
no, don't sing,
Yeah.
just play the piano. Don't
Yes.
sing, please don't sing, just play.
Wow.
And you see, and that probably stuck with me throughout my life.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
very, very difficult. And I'm getting all these brilliant, wonderful jobs and things. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, and he's still, he's at the back of my mind saying, "Don't sing, don't sing."
Right.
Um, I just remember that as a child. So
Yes.
yeah. So anyway, I got through it, and I did the prisons, and I did the. He put me in charge of school projects that I had to
Yes.
run with lots of kids,
Yes.
and like band workshops and songwriting workshops. And Janie sent me on songwriting workshops going into year nines, in schools, and she was right there. She kept
Yes.
pushing me out there and said,
It's
"Go on, you can do
wonderful.
this." It was, and I was just thinking of, I've got my CV here. I was looking at all the different workshops that I'd done, children in care, and we did a project together.
We did. Yeah, that's how we met, wasn't it? We
Yeah,
met in a PRU, wouldn't we? Which is, for anyone
true.
listening, that's a pupil referral unit for kids
Yeah,
that are out of school. And this unit particularly specialised in looking after teenage mums, didn't it? And they had a
teenage mum.
nursery with the babies.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing lullabies with the babies, and then
Yeah,
I'd come and join you, and we'd do some songwriting, didn't we, with the young
that's right.
people,
With the mums.
with the mums.
Yeah,
It was
I mean that's
extraordinary.
just extraordinary, and working with children in care
Yeah.
was fantastic. And but you realize how wonderful these children are and how talented they are. And in
Yes.
prison, oh my goodness, some of the women. It was a women's prison actually, but I did go into a men's prison as well. That was really difficult as well. But in the women's prison, there's so much talent in there,
Yes.
and girls with beautiful voices, and
Yeah.
and all they can be is authentic, really.
Yeah.
And this is where it all comes to, you as long as you're authentic. And I remember listening to one of your vocal revolutions with Jill Manley, actually, the
Yes.
first one, and she said, if you must be authentic. And I've always remembered that, but I've always been authentic. I
Yeah.
can't be anything else.
Yes.
I just have to believe in what I do
Yes.
and hope that other people will like what I do.
Yes. It's just being yourself, isn't it? Just really being yourself.
Can't
Yeah.
be anyone else. You just have to go with it and struggle through it and just but I did have my piano playing and that helped me go through things as well.
Of course. Because
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of the wonderful thing about when you're a musician is that kind of music can be our own form of therapy or our own form of release, can't it?
Yeah.
And so when you're doing something that is really, really kind of nourishing for you and then it's giving pleasure to other people, it's a really amazing thing, isn't it? It's a magical thing because we're all in this kind of, I see it as we're all in this process. As a musician, something's happening for me while
Mm.
I'm delivering, as well as people that I'm delivering to. So we're all having an experience together. And I think that's amazing. It sounds like piano has been that very powerful channel for you. And
Yeah.
of course, your voice.
I
Yeah.
remember going into doing a workshop in a studio with these guys, rappers. They were all rappers.
Yeah.
In I come, with the blonde hair. Thinking, oh my God, I think they're going to eat me alive, these guys,
Yeah.
all of this stuff. And it was really fun. And, but actually, what saved me was my piano playing.
Yeah.
It really saved me because, oh gosh, miss, that's great, And
Yeah.
I was thinking, yeah. And they used to look forward to me coming in, because
Yes.
it would help them uh, with their rapping and everything. And I'd be able to add all the musical bits and things. And it was fantastic, amazing. I've really had such a colourful community life.
You have. You
It's really
have.
beautiful. And then I just started choirs, didn't I?
That's right. And then choirs. And gosh, before we get to choirs, I'd love to hear, were there any, when you mentioned the rappers, but were there any standout stories from that time, particularly in sort of prisons or these really tough places? Are there any standout times where you saw that music really helped someone or it really made a difference or you saw a breakthrough? Could be a small thing, but just as you say, some of the women finding their voices in the prison or
Well, it was
uh,
that really that stuck with me. There was this one girl, obviously I'm not going to mention her name or anything, but she was a bit of a lifer, I think. But her voice was incredible. And she also played the guitar. I just remember, her being able to record her songs, I was able to bring out her stuff, and it was just amazing, I can't remember one particular time. I'm trying to think myself now. Oh gosh.
no, that's great.
There were so many lovely moments,
Yeah. Yeah.
so many, just being able to go into these schools with songwriting, particularly with like year nines, when Janie, asked me to do some of the year nine projects in Newham, you know, the songs were fantastic.
Yes.
You kind of think, gosh, these kids are fantastic. Fantastic lyrics, everything that I can't do. Lyrics is not something of my strength, but it's great to hear them because I used to say, come on, write a bit more, write a bit, and I'll play a bit of piano, and then they'd sing a bit, and they're, oh, that's great, that's great. And, before we knew it, we had songs, we had
Wow.
songs and loads of songs. It's just fantastic. So there isn't there isn't a particular standout moment. I just think the standout moment is that I took myself to Goldsmiths, and that changed my whole life.
Yes.
And for me, just made me see another part of society and another world, really. And
Yes,
being part of it is fantastic.
it
And
is.
I love it.
Yes. And that magic of, as you say, making music together
Mm,
and everyone in it together,
mm.
and then coming up with this new material that helps people express themselves and their situations and
And
their
put it on
feelings.
performances, they could put on performances everywhere, as you know, Katie, every choir thing that we do, we have to put on a performance. So
Yeah.
every project that I ever did, every single project, I think we put on a performance.
Yes.
And that was fantastic, because
Yes.
they had the chance to express themselves, express myself, express themselves. It always gave me such joy. And the whole thing has been really lovely. Mm.
Fantastic.
Yeah, not
And
that I'm finished with it because I'm not.
no, you're still very, very active. Not exactly. And so, and then choirs. So obviously, we lead a choir together. But what was your first choir, Sarah? How did you get into that?
Oh my goodness. Well, I've never actually sung in a choir before myself.
That's the irony, isn't it? Yes, I was thrown out of the choir at school, so I was like, and I never went back. So then, until I was started leading them.
It's really funny. Well, that's the thing, you see, because I've never actually, sung in a choir. So, what happened? Well, it was very simple. I throw myself into everything, like a bull, bull in a china shop, really. Oh my God.
It's enthusiasm. I wouldn't say you're a bull in a china shop. You're just very, very enthusiastic and you just go for it.
Well, I thought to myself, after doing like loads of community music and loads of work with young people, I then thought, well, what am I going to do now?
Yes.
what am I going to do now? Oh, actually, before the choirs. I know I started choirs with Hazel actually. So Hazel, I thought to myself after all this community stuff, not that I'd finished it, but I was kind of thinking, oh, I could do with a bit of rock and roll.
Yes.
So, I kind of talked about it, thought about it, put it out there into the universe, and Hazel came along, Hazel O Connor, which we'll talk about in a minute. But
Yeah.
at the same time, the pub down the road was uh, taken over by this lovely two people. They weren't a couple, but fantastic. They both were really lovely, and they renovated the place. And I went in there and I said, I'd love to start a singing group here or something. It's got a lovely function room upstairs. What's the chances? And he said, oh no, that's great, but one of the ladies behind the bar, she also would like to start a singing group. And I
Wow.
said, really? That's a shame.
Oh.
What are we going to do? And he said, well, the thing is, I want you both to start a singing group, but you're going to have to do it together.
Wow.
Yeah. And both of us, like, we didn't even know each other.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I didn't know that was the story behind Canberra Choir.
Yeah. So we took ourselves out to have a cup of tea, as you do, and a chat. And we talked about ourselves to each other, which was great fun. Like, fun talking about yourself, isn't it? It's great. I'm really enjoying this.
Fantastic.
And yeah, so basically we said, well, how are we going to do this? And we said, well, I said, I can't have any more. This is me saying I can't have any more than 15 people. I've never run a choir in my life. And she said, well, no, I can't do that either. So, but well, all right, we'll start off with 15 people. We'll put it out there. We'll put 15 people. But anyway, so Steve, who was running the pub, said, okay. So we said, well, look, ask around and see who wants to come. Anyway, our first session was like 25 people, and we both stood. Oh God.
Fantastic.
So anyway, she would play the piano for herself, and then I think my first song was "I Don't Like Mondays" or something.
Right.
Rats, and she did something else, and I would play the piano, and I thought this isn't going quite the way we wanted it to. And so then we took ourselves out again 3 weeks later, and I said, "Look, Lucy, the one thing that I can do, I can't conduct very well, but I can play the piano. And I'd rather do my session by playing the piano and conducting with my head, my eyes,
Yes.
and all of this. And you can conduct, and I'll play for you if you want me to." And she said, "Yeah, no, I'd really love you to play for me, and I'll conduct and do this." And I did go on a conducting course, by the way, as well.
Yes. Yes. Janie's course, isn't it? Jane Wheeler runs a brilliant course, just for
Yes,
anyone listening, about choral training. So if you're looking
choral
for
training,
training,
which was really helpful for me.
is it CME it's called?
Yeah,
Anyway,
seeing me.
yeah.
And
So
I
check
did
for
that
that.
and I loved it as well. So that kind of set me up as well. But, I was never going to be some great conductor. And I never had, it was something I didn't particularly want to do anyway, but I just wanted to kind of learn how to do it. And so, yeah, we went out for another cup of tea and she said, "Yeah, you play the piano for me and you play the piano for yourself and I'll conduct for my part of the evening and you can conduct with your head or whatever you want to do." So that's how we did it. How we did it. And 10 years later,
Still going.
we are still going strong and we get on really, really well, Lucy and I, but like you and me, Katie. And I mean, we love that choir. We've been through lockdown with it. We've done all the Zooms and everything. We had to learn how to do all of that. But we get on very, very well. And that's how the Cambria choir started. And we still got a few people that came right at the beginning.
Wow.
There.
Amazing.
And then Caterham Choir with you.
Yes.
That was through Catherine.
Yes, through Catherine Pestano, who I know gave is an amazing, also with training with you at the same time, wasn't she? On the Goldsmiths, I believe, is that?
Yes, I met Catherine through Goldsmiths. That's right.
So big shout out to Catherine because she's done a lot of great work in the
She
community.
has, and I worked for her a lot in the community. That was great.
Yes,
Great.
yes.
So, and then the Caterham Choir's been going for I don't know how long. How long?
I'm not sure because I came after it started, but I think it's at least 6 years, isn't it? I think
7 or 8 years, something like that. It's been a while now. So, those are my two choirs and
wonderful.
both.
And the
And I
Cambria,
love doing the arrangements actually.
yes, your arrangements are wonderful. They're just so much fun and so enjoyable, so uplifting.
Well, the reason why I do my own arrangements, and this is the truth, I'm a terrible sight reader,
Oh,
right? And I thought, once I started, buying, choral arrangements for, any of the songs, I thought, I just can't read this. But I didn't have it in me to particularly want to um, learn how to read particularly. I mean, I can read, and I was trained up to grade 7 piano.
yes, yes.
I failed my grade 8 and never took it again. And that was that. But I was always a terrible sight reader, and so I thought, well, I can't read all this stuff. I can't read it, so I'm going to have to do my own arrangements, and that's all.
Yeah.
I can't write a score, and I'm not interested in learning how to write a score. I just want to do my own arrangements of the songs that I really love in my life,
Yes.
and that's why I'm starting a choir because I want to hear these songs sung in a different way, in harmony, and that's what I can do. So
Fantastic.
that's how it works for me.
Wow. And what I love, that seems to have happened a lot. That seems like a theme throughout all your journey of just, I'm going to do this my way. I'm just going to go for it. And that's what I've heard you kind of saying in lots of these situations, like, and not feeling like you have to fit into a box or do it any other person's way, but just doing it your way and having that authenticity that you talked about. And that's a really important thing, I think, for any artist.
Yes, yes, that's absolutely true. It was my way or no way actually, because I couldn't do it any other way. And if it worked, it worked, and if it didn't, and it has worked for me
Yes,
my whole life pretty much.
absolutely. And there are so many ways of music making, and the way using dots and scores is only one way, and I think that's what's really important. That's what community music has affirmed for me
Yeah.
time and time again. There are so many ways to learn and make music. They're so diverse. There is and each person has their own music inside of them and has their own way of making and understanding music, and it's just finding those tools that help people unlock their way of being musical and their unique voice and things like that. And what would your top tips be, having coached lots of people? What would your tips be maybe for helping people find that uniqueness, that authenticity in themselves that you've talked about, because you've gone for it yourself? So what would you say if you're, or what do you find yourself saying to people a lot when you're encouraging people?
Okay, just something that I actually forgot to mention right at the beginning when I started doing community music, and I felt that I fitted in with all of that stuff, was because I had been through quite a lot in my childhood, and that's made me feel that I had the empathy and I needed to work with the people. I could understand, you know, I
Yes.
could understand where a lot of these kids were coming from, you know,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that.
So as you described, the things that your stepdad told you, many people, many of us have had those moments where someone has either consciously or unconsciously kind of stopped us or shut us down while we're trying to be creative and expressive.
Yeah.
Many people have had those experiences that sometimes can stay with them for their whole life, and you had to work through yours and face yours. So then that's given you understanding, and in a way that comes into what we're talking about, is that what we're just really talking about, how we support people to go past that, and to that message of encouragement to find your music inside you despite those old voices, despite those difficult experiences, really, isn't it?
It is, and I was shut down a lot as a child. I really was, unfortunately. You know, I didn't say very much, to be honest, and it was just how it was. You know, I was being brought up by my stepfather, and so I think that's probably why I get so stuck sometimes with getting things out and getting words out and stuff. But I've done much better these days, of course.
Yes.
But that was a big. Oh gosh, that's really it was it was terrible. It was terrible for me, but I had to, as you say, I worked through it. And people come to the choirs and the singing groups for so many different reasons.
Yes.
And I was just writing things down actually, and I'd say to everyone who wanted to who wants to sing, and first of all, to just join a group, or join a choir, or and listen to lots of music,
Yes.
and be authentic, be yourself. You don't have to be anyone else. You know, one of my mental health groups, they were saying how much they love just coming. There was only 6 of them, because it makes them forget about their troubles,
Yes.
and forget about their worries, and that's it really.
And
You
it's
know,
being in the moment, isn't it, together? Because you can't really, when you're singing, you have to concentrate. So you can't really be thinking about anything else and all those troubling thoughts, which is why it is good for mental health, isn't it? It kind of takes you out of those worries for a time. And also, as you said, being in a group, a supportive group, a safe group, finding groups where you feel safe, where you feel like, yeah, these people get me and I can be myself.
yeah.
That's important, isn't it, for
It
people?
really is. And I see the people in the groups that I run, and they're really passionate about their singing.
Yes.
They want to be there,
Yeah.
that's it. They want to be there. Whether they can sing, be a great singer or whatever, they just want to be there and be part of something. And it's really a lovely feeling to hear everybody's heart beating as one, and
Yes.
everybody singing this the songs that I've arranged, as well, that we've
Yes.
and Lucy arranges her and stuff as well, so it's great. And that you hear these wonderful harmonies come back at you. It's very emotional, the
Yes.
whole thing.
It's wonderful work you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I love it. As I say, that's where I'm at now. So, and working with Hazel O'Connor, which is absolutely wonderful. She's a great lyricist, actually. She's just writes wonderful lyrics and wonderful songs.
Yes.
And I've spent 10 years with her. That's kind of run alongside all my choirs. And in fact, actually, the beauty of working with Hazel, she's a community person herself, really. She loves working with all different kinds of people, and she puts herself out there as well. So she's really a real people's person. And she's asked several times actually the Cambria Choir to be her backing vocalist. So
Wow.
the Cambria Choir have actually sung at the Union Chapel,
Wow.
sung at the Adelphi Theatre.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't
really
it?
fantastic. And so they've had great experiences with that, and also at the pub. Hazel's done a couple of gigs at the pub. Oh, that was, yeah,
That's
that
wonderful.
was a
And that's,
pivotal moment.
I can imagine, yeah, Hazel's a pivotal moment. And how wonderful that you can bring those two worlds, your performing world where you're expressing yourselves and being and performing with professionals, and then bringing that together with the community work that you do, and that those two worlds can come together and make something beautiful together. That's joyful. That's joyful.
Yeah, we did our first gig at the Cambria, and they were so excited that we were coming to do a gig there.
Wow.
And it was packed to the
Yes.
rafters.
Yes.
And I remember being like, we were just three of us on this tiny, tiny stage in this tiny pub doing this gig. It was just unreal.
Wow.
And I remember making one hell of a mistake. And here we go. We were singing this beautiful song called Rebecca, which is one of my favourite songs by Hazel. And I forgot where I was because I was so overwhelmed by everything.
Yes.
And I forgot where I was in the song, and she would just carry on singing, and Claire was playing, and I was thinking, oh, I don't know where I am. I have no idea. So this song went on for about 10 minutes, you couldn't actually finish it. And then she was kind of hollering out to the audience, kind of like a gospel thing. And I'm thinking, oh God, how are we going to finish this? I'm sweating, thinking this is just awful. And her agent at the time, she said, I'm really excited. I remember this. And she came to the gig, and Cormac was there as well. He was in London. They
Yes.
came to our first gig, and she came up to me at the beginning and she said, I'm really excited to hear Rebecca. And that was the song that went completely wrong. I thought this is a nightmare.
Yes.
And by the end of the song, it was about 10 minutes in, and Hazel turned to me and she said, oh, for God's sake, finish this song. And I ended up going, and we ended it. And the sweat. And I thought, oh, that was unbearable. Anyway, that was also a pivotal moment. And then from then, we did 10 years, and we're still on.
Wow.
Yeah, we did. We unfortunately 2 years of lockdown, or 1.5 years. Haven't done any gigs with her for a year and a half or whatever. But hopefully next year, now with 2 years of gigs cancelled,
Yes.
we'll be
Back on the
doing
road.
a whole year of touring, which
How
we
exciting. That is so,
alongside the Cambria and Caterham choirs, of
of
course.
course, of course. How amazing. I'm so excited that you can get back out there on the road together. And thank you for sharing that story. And again, it's really great for us all to know that, and I've certainly had my fair share of clangers in the middle of gigs. It's really important for people to hear that, professional musicians do make mistakes, and that we do have to recover in the moment and make something, and sometimes something else happens that you didn't expect just because you made a mistake. So it doesn't always have to be a bad thing, and you can recover and still, you're not going to lose relationships just because you made a mistake on stage. And it's a big learning for everyone.
We
So
laugh so much about all our gigs, because all our gigs, something happens, some clangor
of
happens.
course,
And
always.
so, but you just have to carry on, and you just go through it.
That's
And
right.
that's the choir as well, isn't it? When you just,
Exactly.
everywhere, oh, what's
All
that
music.
note?
Yeah, all music experience. Yeah, because we're not robots, and that's part of the beauty of kind of being live and being just, in the spontaneity of, whoa, what's going to happen now. So
Yeah.
so thank you, Sarah. We do have to kind of, there's so much we could talk about, but we do have to
Woo!
try and draw this amazing conversation to a close. And I just wanted to close with just, I know we said we would just remark on Hanukkah, which I know you'll be celebrating in a few days, and that whole theme of bringing light to the darkness. And certainly
Mm.
you've brought light to us today, talking about your amazing experiences. Is there
Oh.
anything you want to share about your reflections on Hanukkah and what that means for you and at
Well,
this
I
time?
just I love all the Jewish traditional festivals, and even though I'm not particularly religious myself, as Jewish religion, but I am Jewish, and my family are quite. Well, my sister is quite Orthodox, and we celebrate all the festivals with her, And I have a rather big family, and I am going to light the Hanukkah candles on Sunday at my nephew's house, and it's beautiful. And they have, 8 candles for each day, and they're called menorahs, and he has a menorah for each child.
Wow.
They have 4, and it's wonderful. And then on the 4th of December, is it the 5th of December, it's finishing. So I go to my other nephew, and we light the last night of the candles.
Oh,
It's very nice. And I give all my nieces and nephews money for Hanukkah, because that's traditional that you give money. They call it gelt. And you eat donuts,
yay.
lots of donuts. And they, because of the, what is it? They have latkes. It's called latkes, and it's like a potato fried and everything. And they eat a lot of oily food around Hanukkah time. But the donuts are my favourite, and I love it. I love all the tradition of it all. Yeah,
That's wonderful. And
yeah, it's
music,
great.
does music play a part in Hanukkah or?
Well, they're always singing.
Yes.
they're, they're always singing, even though they might not know the songs that I sing. But I have taught them actually. I have taught my choir a nice Hebrew song, the Hinei Matovim Manayim, and they sing it beautifully.
Yes.
But my Jewish family, they sing all the Hebrew songs, and I'm trying to learn them all, and I'm part of that, and I just love all the tradition, really.
It's beautiful. And
Yeah,
that
I
must have
do.
been another really powerful influence on you
It
musically.
has been actually, and I love it all, really. I love to be with everybody. And of course, I have to say Diwali, which I mustn't forget, because of my community group in Toynbee.
Yes, just celebrated
We have a
Diwali.
group of mixed cultures there, mainly Asian ladies actually come to that group, but it's great fun. Um, as you know,
I
Katie,
do,
you
because I've been to
did,
visit them.
did a session there. And of course, they've just celebrated Diwali, so
Yes,
we've got it all going on. And it's just a very colourful life. Yeah, and it
lovely.
really is. And I mean, it's great to be part of that and taking the sessions in all of these different places with all these different people, different cultures, because at the end of the day, singing and music brings so much to everyone's life. Really, it does. And it helps so many people in difficult situations. And, it makes you feel happy. It makes me feel happy when I'm delivering a group workshop or a choir. It brings out, I can express myself and have fun and laughter and come away feeling that I've done something good for myself and for a lot of people. Yeah.
Fantastic. Absolutely. Yeah, what a positive message to end on.
Rock and
Thank
roll.
you. Yeah, rock and roll. Singing's amazing, music's amazing. Thank you so much to Sarah for coming to share that amazing, powerful message and all her amazing pivotal moments and stories that are so, I'm sure, will have inspired many, many of us to go out and do our own thing and be who we are authentically, to
Yeah.
express our voices authentically, to use that magic of music to bring light wherever we can. So thank you so much, Sarah, so much for being here with me and for being such an amazing colleague as well for so
Oh,
many years. You've been
thank
amazing to
you.
work with. Thank
You're
you.
amazing to work with.
Oh, thank you.
It
And
really is. I'm going to do a vocal revolution on Katie soon. But she's fantastic, and thank you so much for asking me to do this. It was great. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm so glad you could come. Thank you so much. And thank you to all our listeners, everyone watching, wherever you are. We wish you a beautiful Hanukkah. We wish you beautiful Diwali, Christmas, all the light that you need to guide you through your way. Thank you. And lots of beautiful music making and singing. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you, everyone.